and welcome to the last bullet journal plan with me video of this year. We'll walk through this whole December layout together, but as always, before we get started, let's quickly flip through the previous November pages. I know this time of the year can be quite busy for many people, and I've definitely been busy as well, but that shouldn't stop us from taking a little bit time to ourselves to enjoy setting up our bullet journals. So when we reach the next empty page, I'm gonna start this layout from my cover page. I'm first writing December here, and I'm also making a small calendar that we can use later. To be quite honest, I think coming up with a theme for December is always so hard for me because I feel like I have to do something holiday related, but at the same time, the typical holiday stuff doesn't really inspire me that much. After thinking about the theme a lot, I finally decided to do this kind of cozy, mildly Christmas type of theme. And instead of the typical reds and blues, I'm actually taking more natural direction with the colors as well. So now we can move on to the cover page decoration, and I must admit I was kind of struggling with it this month. I actually started this Copic marker drawing of this fireplace, but it just didn't work in my opinion. I made it too small and tried to finish it too quickly, which is why I ended up trashing that one and going with totally different direction. So instead of that, I decided to create this gingerbread cookie house using this brown craft paper I had laying around. Don't ask me where this idea came from, I have no idea. But anyway, I had so much fun creating this one, and we will walk through the whole process step by step. So I started this by quickly sketching something on the paper, mainly to just figure out the size and shape of this house, so I would then know what kind of piece I need from the brown paper. And if you don't own brown paper like this, you can of course just color the background for your house using watercolors or colorful pens or something like that. The only thing I advise you to check out beforehand is if your white pen will work on that surface. So after I glued this weird looking shape onto my notebook, I took out my white uni Posca marker and started to draw the decorations. This pen has actual white paint in it, so it makes it less skippy compared to a gel roll pen, like for example the Uniball white pen that I often use in my videos as well. This one doesn't work on all surfaces, but it was perfect for this purpose, and I was so happy how this pen worked. So I just started to play around with different decorations, kinda as I was decorating an actual gingerbread house. If you feel lack of inspiration with the decorations, the internet is full of beautiful gingerbread houses that you can use as your guide. Like, it blows my mind that some people are actually pulling out this stuff in the real world. Like, I had hard enough time concentrating while I was just doodling these things in my journal. But anyway, I started from the roof and created some dripping ice or snow effect here. And after that, I just continued playing around with different patterns, swirls, shapes, and started to make this actually look like a house. There are honestly endless possibilities for different decorations, which is why I think this was so fun. Then now I will show you how I kinda took this whole thing to the next level by adding some really light shadows on the house. So I was thinking where there would be shadows in an actual house like this, and I added them using this light gray brush pen. I think this created a more three-dimensional effect, and it also made the decorations almost stand out even more. I especially focused some shadows to the windows and also underneath the roof. Then I had yet another idea to use this Green Kraft paper to add some slight details to this house. Now you definitely can just use your green brush pen if you don't have paper like this. But anyway, I cut out some small shapes to add some kind of green plants or something to this house. And we will also add snow on top of these as well, so they won't look this weird in the end. I could have honestly just keep adding more and more decorations, but in some point I decided this house was ready and that would finish up our first spread for this December layout. Then before jumping to the monthly calendar page, I quickly want to tell you a little bit about this month's sponsor, who is Wix. I'm so happy they wanted to work with me and gave me an amazing opportunity to build my own website with them. So Wix is a website building platform that allows you to build highly customizable professional websites. They also provide marketing tools, coding platform, and advanced drag and drop tools for you to create a beautiful website super efficiently. You can create a site for a blog, art portfolio, online store, or for almost any other purpose. I created a personal website/blog that I'm also gonna use as my portfolio in the future. I've been meaning to create a website for a long time already to kind of combine everything I'm doing, and also because I have so many thoughts about creativity and productivity that I want to share in a blog form as well. And also to make it more appealing to you, I'm gonna add a whole section for some free printables that you can download and use in your own bullet journals. I really enjoyed designing my website in the Wix editor. For me, having a total creative freedom was the most important thing, and I could definitely create exactly the type of website I wanted. So if you've been thinking about creating a website, you can go to wix.com/go/journalaway to create your own professional website. Again, thank you so much for Wix for supporting my channel, and now let's get back to business and start setting our monthly page. So I started this one by setting a fairly simple bigger calendar to the top left corner of this page so that we have the whole bottom part free for some decorations. As you can see, I totally left out the first day of the month because I didn't want to make a whole row for that one Sunday. And I don't know about you guys, but I feel like December is one of those months that ends up being filled with everything, so having a bigger calendar like this will probably turn out really useful. After the calendar was done in all its simplicity, I moved on to draw this quick Christmassy wreath next to it. Wreath, I hope I'm saying that right. I started this by writing December on the middle. I used very similar font as I did on the cover page. And then I started to sketch some rough lines here with the pencil. I wanted this to be pretty simple, and also I didn't want to close it off completely to have a little bit lighter look. Then I just went in with my brush pens and started to draw over the lines I just created. I drew some silver ball ornaments and framed everything with these evergreen branches. These are so easy to draw, by the way. Just draw lines with these V shapes, alter the lengths a little bit, and you have yourself some evergreen branches. I think this clean circle really brought this simple decoration together, and again I think this added a slight holiday feel to this page. Next I added this small box for my content list in the bottom of this page, and you could use it for whatever purpose you would need. Maybe a gift list, important dates, master to-do list, whatever works for you. After that, I moved on to make even more gingerbread cookie houses. I know you can't see it from the video, but I actually created these ones first before doing the whole cover page. So here I was just really figuring out what to do. I know I'm sometimes totally cheating you on these videos by drawing this stuff actually in different order. But anyway, this time these houses will be a lot more simple and also quicker to do. So I started this again by first cutting out different sizes of house shapes from this brown paper, and then I glued them to the page. You can imagine that in this point I was kind of freaking out because I had no idea if this was gonna even work, but you can be sure I was too lazy to try that out before filming everything. anyway, I played around with different decorations again. Some turned out prettier than others, but I think this is definitely one of those things where more is more. So I think the more I kept adding these decorations, the less I was able to pay attention to the few crooked lines here and there. If you want, you can add even more houses, and I was thinking if they would have looked even better if there was no space between the houses. Also, you could add some evergreens to the front to create a real Christmas village, but this time I just stuck with these houses. And yeah, that finally finishes our monthly page. I really like these colors together. They were definitely my favorite part of this theme. And now let's flip our way to the next page. So next I decided to set up a project tracker page, which could work as a monthly goals page as well. I think many of us might have some kinds of projects in December, whether it's Christmas preparation, school assignments or tests, or in my case, filming and uploading more videos than I typically do. So I figured a real project tracker page would probably be useful for many people. So first I made this line which will resemble the different action steps you need to take to get closer to your goal. I always try to break my goals and projects into smaller steps because it makes it so much easier to approach and track your progress. And I'm planning to list those tasks under this line. I didn't write anything down here yet, so I'll just add some imaginary stuff on the screen so you can see how this would work. Then I decided to go even further and try out a timeline graph. So if you really have many things that need to be done, I think creating a visual timeline with all your tasks could be a really great thing to try out. This will make it easier to plan enough time for each part of the project and also track when you should have completed each stage. These kind of things were especially helpful for me at school whenever I had any bigger project. So yeah, I know that was pretty intense time management type of page. So next to it, I wanted to make something more simple to balance things out. I haven't made an ideas page in the past few months, so I decided to bring that back this month. Recently, I feel like I had many ideas I had to write down somewhere else, so empty pages like these are really good for stuff like that don't necessarily have any other designated place. I decided to add another evergreen Christmas decoration type of drawing to the bottom part of this page. So I started this by again quickly sketching some outlines with my pencil, and then I drew some evergreen branches again using my green brush pen. Then I added some silver ornaments here, and later I decided to add some patterns on top of those ornaments with my white pen, and I even drew in some white snowflakes. I got all these ideas mainly by just scrolling through different Christmas decorations from Pinterest, and I just combined a lot of different things I liked. So yeah, pretty simple page for now, but it will probably end up pretty full later. And now let's turn our way to the first weekly page of December. So I decided to try out something different this month with the weekly layout, and I decided to add 2 weeks on this one page. I've realized that for me, the bottleneck of my bullet journaling always seems to be setting up the new weekly pages. So I was thinking maybe if I had to set up my weeklies once every 2 weeks, it could maybe work better. I would be interested to know if I'm the only one feeling like this. Have you ever tried setting up more than 1 week on one spread? Or do you ever feel lazy to set up your weeklies? So I also added a habit tracker for these 2 weeks on the top part of this page, and I used these small symbols to indicate all my habits. These are all things that I track pretty consistently, and I found it super helpful to force myself keep doing them. There was this empty space on this page and I didn't really know how to use it, so I ended up just writing week 49 to 50 on here. Pretty pointless maybe, but I think it made this spread look a little bit prettier. Then, since it's the end of this year, rather than doing a monthly review page as I usually do, I will set up a 2019 review page. I skipped one page that will be for the other 2 weeks on December, and then I started to set up this one. Last year I feel like I had more interesting yearly review page, but it actually ended up not being super helpful for me. So this year I wanted mainly to focus on the goals I could achieve. I think I'm naturally a type of person who forgets to celebrate achieving my goals, and I often end up being too hard on myself instead. So especially if you struggle with similar problems, I think it would be really great to take a moment and just celebrate any small wins you could achieve this year. Pretty likely you're like me and you didn't achieve all the goals you set up in the beginning of this year, but who does, honestly? Also, those goals might have changed on the way, but if you have just anything at all that you could start this year, or you could achieve, or follow through, I think this is the time to pat yourself in the back and have a proud moment. I think you have deserved that. I'm planning on filling this page in the very end of this year before I will set up any goals for the next year. I think that will make me think about the goals I want to set up for the new year a little bit more realistically, because often, at least I feel like some of my goals are pretty ambitious and takes way more time in reality than I planned. Or at least it would require me to be in super good headspace for the whole year for everything to happen perfectly. I'm slowly starting to realize that that's not real life. But anyway, so this whole spread is pretty self-explanatory. I usually like to leave a little bit more open questions for myself as well, where I can write something a bit longer. But yeah, that finally finishes up this December layout. I know this was a little bit more simple, so I'm sorry if you were looking for something more exciting. I promise more painting tutorials and animal drawings are coming up in the following months, and I can't wait to start my new journal. I'm so excited for the new year, and I really hope there are many of you out there who are also planning to continue bullet journaling, or who are maybe starting your first journals now. That's so exciting as well. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching as always, and if you're interested in a printable version of this theme, you can find that from my Etsy shop. That will be linked down below. But yeah, I hope all of you have an amazing day or night wherever you are, and see you in my next one. Bye bye!